Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Secrets to Looking Younger, a masterclass series on how to get your energy back so you can look and feel like your most vibrant self. I'm your host, Jenny Bailey. I'm a certified health coach, women's weight loss specialist, and founder of Baby Boomer Queen. Today, Dr. Kimberly Spair joins us to talk about adrenal health. As a board-certified holistic health practitioner with a PhD in holistic health and nutrition, speech pathologist, and yoga therapist, Dr. Spair helps clients of all ages reclaim their health and vitality, free themselves from chronic and mystery symptoms and autoimmune diseases, and lead healthy, hopeful lives. By paying special attention to the interplay between nutrition and emotional health, she is able to view the body as a whole and achieve her mission to empower women by encouraging them to trust their inner wisdom to become their best selves. So welcome, Dr. Spair. I am so glad you're with us today. And
thank you for being here.
And I know everybody is ready to learn all about adrenal health. And I know I am, and because it kind of feels like a mystery. But before we go there, let's share your story first of how you became a holistic practitioner, from going from speech pathologist to yoga therapist to holistic health practitioner. Share your story on that.
Sure. So I spent my early days working in hospitals with stroke recovery patients with tracheostomies and feeding tubes, and always wondering about that disconnect of like, here's someone that has had a catastrophic health issue and we're feeding them jello and pudding and crackers and all of these things to teach them how to swallow again. And we are trying to retrain their brain so that they can start to communicate with their families again, yet we're giving them junk. So this was just always, my wheels are spinning. Years into it, I went through my own health struggle where I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis and neurological Lyme disease. At the time, I saw the best conventional doctors. Then I got into like more functional medicine doctors, and I kind of did it all the treatments. I did the medications, I did the intravenous, I did the supplements, I did the diet. I mean, you name it, I tried it. And my health was just getting worse and worse. I was only 28 years old. Fast forward a few years later, I had my first child and everything just went, to the point that I felt like I wasn't surviving. And if you guys are interested in my full, long story, I actually have a docuseries. It's called Hope for Healing. It's at getthehealmethod.com. You can watch my entire story there. But long story short, after all of the conventional and alternative doctors, I met New York Times bestselling author Anthony William, dove into his books, reclaimed my health, turned my health around, really feel better now than I did in my 20s, and I'm going to turn 40 this year. So, really just food, supplements, herbs, just turned everything around, followed these amazing life-changing principles. And that's what changed my practice. So everything that I was doing before, I'm not just teaching people how to function in life now. I'm really helping people to reverse chronic symptoms and dis-ease. And we all have to be careful what we say. But it's just exciting. It's so exciting to see people think that they have something that they're going to be sick with their entire life. And, then they find out that there's hope. And I think that's the biggest piece is hope.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you pursued it and didn't stop. And I know so many people, and actually a personal friend that suffers from chronic fatigue, adrenal, thyroids. So let's take it down to basic biology, especially for the people listening in here today and really don't know much about adrenals. So tell us where the adrenals are located in the body and what role they play.
So the adrenals are small, triangular shaped glands, and they're on the top of both kidneys. And most people think, this doesn't impact me because I'm not someone that's sick with adrenal fatigue, but we all actually need to worry about this. Every single one of us living in this crazy world right now. Everything is so fast and our reaction time is supposed to be fast, and we go from one thing to another, to another, to another. So we really have to learn how to protect the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands, they monitor things like cortisol and adrenaline in the body. And they really help with that, that stress, the response to stress. We are meant to go through stress in life. It's not that we're never supposed to experience stress, but it's supposed to be short-lived. And we're supposed to go up there and get stressed and then come back down. We are not meant to live up here in chronic adrenaline, cortisol, fight or flight all the time. And how many of us have gone through periods of our lives where we get up there, because it could be something little. Once you're in adrenal fatigue, it could be something little that sets you off, and it could be hours, days, weeks for some people to come out of that cortisol and adrenaline spike. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about ongoing stress that is leading to our adrenals to become taxed, tired, fatigued.
So what is going to tip somebody off that their fatigue is related to their adrenal glands versus thyroid? I think sometimes they don't know, because we hear it's kind of like mystery. And of course we go out to Dr. Google. So how do they know if it's adrenals or thyroid or something?
So they work hand in hand. You can't have a thyroid issue without the adrenals being involved. And if your adrenals are chronically taxed, your thyroid is typically going to be involved if it's not already anyway. So they work together. What happens is the adrenal glands are either producing too much or too little hormone. Okay. And that really impacts the thyroid, the immune system, our mood, and also the body's ability to detox properly. And that's where, in my work, it's different than a lot of things out there. I explained where, my source of information is coming from. It's different than a lot of things out there. But this is what has, allowed me to heal my body and thousands of women all over the world that I've worked with over the last 7 years. So as your body is becoming chronically stressed, you're not detoxing properly. Your liver is just not doing the job that it's meant to do. So what happens? Yes, it affects your immune system, your thyroid, your brain. It really, we can't separate them. And I always say, we want to look at the body as a whole, but people still get stuck on like just the thyroid, just the liver, but really it all works synergistically. So if it's fatigue, there are also, other symptoms that can lead us in that direction. So trouble concentrating, things like that, forgetfulness, poor digestion. People complain of depression, anxiety, sleep issues, insomnia, thirst. That's another big one. Just being thirsty all the time. That's adrenal. Sweating, I said anxiety, depression, craving stimulants. A lot of people that are also adrenally fatigued are craving the coffee, the matcha, all of those things, because they're so used to being in that state of chronic fight or flight. I know. And I feel like all of us at some point, have gone through periods of this. I don't really know anyone that hasn't gone through a period where their adrenals just were not working as well as they should be.
So what do they do first? So if they're fatigued and they go to their regular doctor, and their doctor, how do they test for adrenals? How do they know if it's adrenal versus, I know there's definitely the tests you take.
I don't use tests in my practice. I used to use a lot of those different saliva things and mineral tests and hair tests. But the bottom line is, if someone is struggling with these symptoms, we know that their adrenals are taxed. Like, there's no question. Most women that come to me are saying, I just went through something big in life. I went through a divorce. I've dealt with chronic illness. Okay. So chronic illness, going through symptoms, having extreme stress, someone that just had a baby, all of these things that, we're not sleeping good. We know the adrenals are stressed. So we just dive in and get to work. I'm not worried about, testing. We just support the adrenal glands, and symptoms start to get less and less and less. Then we can use the wisdom of the body to guide us to the next step. But I always start with the central nervous system and the adrenal glands. All
right. So talk to us about what are some of the lifestyle changes, excuse me, you recommend?
Biggest thing for me, you okay? Okay. So the biggest thing for me is keeping that blood sugar stable, because as blood sugar drops, cortisol and adrenaline go up. And that's just physiologic across the board. That's what happens for all of us. And I'm sure, those of you out there that have experienced, you're out shopping, you forget to eat. What happens? Stress level can go up depending what's going on in your body. Okay. So, what things can we do? Is that what you asked me? I'm sorry. I just
Sorry about that. I just thought
making sure you're okay.
Moment.
Yeah. So where do we start? So keeping that blood sugar stable. So making sure that we're eating every 90 minutes to 2 hours, making sure that we are properly hydrated. I love things like citrus in the water or cucumber, lemon, lime, things to bring the water back to life. Really helps to have the water, retain in the body. Those are just some basic things. Meditation, spending time in nature, really being mindful of things in life and trying as much as we can, because I feel like we all always have a million balls flying. Being mindful of where we're spending our stress and where we're allowing that adrenaline to rule our life. Nature is huge for me, even if it's 5 minutes, putting our feet on the earth, grounding outside. Those things bring our bodies back into balance. Of course, we can talk about supportive herbs, things that I love in my practice: lemon balm, nettle, licorice, ashwagandha. Those are all incredible for the adrenal glands. If you want to talk about supplements, B12, magnesium, GABA, those things are all incredible for the adrenals. But if you're doing all the supplements and you're not making changes in your life, we get into this place. So we kind of want to make sure that we're hitting it at every angle. Also, some foods that I love to talk about when people are struggling with adrenal fatigue. Again, it's eating every 90 minutes to 2 hours. And typically we want, eventually, as people get in this, making changes, we want to pair glucose and mineral salts. And what that means is pairing things like a cucumber with an apple and some dates to keep that blood sugar stable. So it's glucose and mineral salts. Other foods that are amazing for stress, things that have really helped me get out of a couple different holes that I went through on my healing journey: mangoes, papayas, potatoes, greens, dark cherries, bananas. Those are just things, oranges. Those are some foods that really help to ground the body. Seaweed, I love that. Sprouts, especially for women that are postpartum, that are dealing with, maybe not sleeping the best and just trying to support their bodies and dealing with little babies. These are foods that really help to ground the body and bring those adrenals back to where they're supposed to be.
All right. So you talked about life events is when they're really stressed out and they're coming to you. And it sounds like it's a kind of a last resort and you don't do the testing. So what do you typically start out with them? With someone who's completely stressed?
It's not just adrenal fatigue. It's all kinds of symptoms, because by now it's impacted their immune system. So a lot of people have like an autoimmune diagnosis or mystery symptoms and illness. They've been to every doctor, kind of what I experienced and what I explained. So where I start is I get them on some basic immune supplements: B12, zinc, vitamin C, those kind of things to start. And then, like I said, the frequent eating. Those two things alone make a huge difference for most people, because now their body is supported. And we start to talk about pathogens that may be involved with what's going on in their body and their immune system. Every case is really different, but that's typically where I start. And as people start to eat more frequently and they keep their blood sugar stable and they're taking basic immune support, they're bringing in wild foods, some of those foods that I talked about.
Yeah.
The grounding foods, and they're getting rid of some other foods in their body that are, feeding things that are, creating upheaval in their system. So like I said, everyone is different, but in general, that's where I start. And of course, celery juice. So if you heard me talk about Anthony William in the beginning of the video, celery juice really turned my health around. And I know that most people that have, tried celery juice, they've seen something amazing happen in their body. So that is where I start. And then it really depends on the case, what people are dealing with. But the frequent eating, the immune support, the celery juice, and then we just kind of take it from there, and we kind of look at what they're dealing with. Are they dealing with Epstein-Barr? Are they dealing with shingles? Are they dealing with, something else? Lots of heavy metals, lots of toxicities. We really support the liver, and it all starts to come together because, like I said, the body works synergistically.
Well, I love that you work with everyone on these natural, holistic approaches, lifestyle approaches. One of the themes that is definitely coming through on this interview series is how stress and not dealing with that stress.
Yes.
This is the havoc on your body. I love all of the foods you mentioned. Definitely liked the mineral salt pairing with the fruits. I don't. That's new to me. So
Yeah.
a lot of good stuff that you're presenting here, and I love how you're definitely giving people a hopeful outlook on if it's adrenal, thyroid,
Yes.
all of
Always hope.
that.
I was on thyroid medication and I came off of it using this information 7 years ago. Two healthy babies, medication free later. So there is hope. And I love to spread that hope with everyone because when I was at the bottom of the barrel in terms of my health, all I did was search for those stories of hope. I wanted to know someone that overcame what I was going through, the neurological symptoms, the fatigue, all of that. And until you find that, you feel like you're like, oh, maybe I will be sick for the rest of my life. But
Yes,
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 there's always hope.
there is always hope. So I understand that you have a gift for all of our listeners out there that are tuning in, and it is the top foods for stress, overwhelm, and bringing the nervous system back into balance. It's an ebook. Can you tell us a little bit about that free gift?
So it's just going to go through the foods that I think are most important for supporting adrenal health. And you can find it right on my website at reclaimersofhealth.com. You actually have to click shop, and then there is the free ebook right under there.
All right, and also the click is right below in the details. So go ahead, click on that link so you can sign up to get Dr. Spair's freebie for you, all about how to support your adrenal health. And it talk about your health in general. All of this is good stuff. And where can people find you?
They can find me at reclaimersofhealth.com or at Reclaimers of Health on social media.
All right, and I'll post those links down below too. Definitely check out Dr. Spair's website. There's a lot of good stuff on there, not only just for women 40 and over, 40 and younger. So if you've got little ones at home or grandchildren that you're running around with, definitely check out her website. Lots of good stuff. Thank you so much for being with us today. I so enjoyed meeting you and talking to you. And I know,
Thank you. It was great being here.
all right. And thanks to all of you for listening in today. And I will see you in our next expert interview on the secrets to looking younger. Bye-bye.
Bye.